childhood crush that rejected me suddenly declares he wants to be with me just as I was about to propose to his younger brother. I am Victoria, 26 years old, and my childhood friend, Andrew, is also 26. We are both from Las Vegas, Nevada. We grew up knowing each other since we were children, and our families eventually became close-knit, celebrating our birthdays, Christmas, and New Year's together. For as long as I can remember, I've always been in love with Andrew. He knew it, as did our families. Our parents always joked and made references that one day we could get married and unite our families even more. When we were 15 years old, I confessed my love to Andrew, but he rejected me. He said he didn't want it to affect our great friendship and that perhaps in the future, we could try something. Heartbroken, I accepted it. When we were 18 years old, about to enter college in Pasadena, I confessed my love to Andrew again, but he said no. He wanted to live life. He said he was going to college in Los Angeles, which surprised me since we were both supposed to have sent our applications to the University of Pasadena. Pasadena is in California, just like Los Angeles, but I was shocked by what Andrew told me. I didn't think he had those thoughts. He went on to tell me that one of his friends, with whom he was also going to Los Angeles, told him to live his life, saying that university education was the best way to grow up as a person. This way, he could experience everything, and when he entered marriage, he would do so without any regrets. He encouraged me to do the same and said that when we met again, we would be ready to start something. I didn't say anything in response. I just nodded since I understood that Andrew didn't view relationships and commitment the same way I did. This is how I started my university life, with a broken heart. From time to time, I would look at Andrew's social networks and see how he posted pictures of the party he attended at the university with other boys and girls. This made me feel sad, and it started to affect my academic performance. When I realized this, I decided to leave Andrew behind and focus on myself and my studies. I spent a year focusing on improving in college and started exercising as I wasn't in good shape. One day, while running around the university, I saw a young man who looked familiar. It was Andrew's younger brother, Harry. I was surprised and went to greet him. He was also surprised and blushed, which I thought was very sweet. I asked him what he was doing at this university and joked, "You didn't come here just to meet me, did you?" That made him blush even more, and we both laughed. I remembered that when we were younger, Harry and I barely talked since I only had eyes for Andrew. Whenever Harry was alone with me, he would always find an excuse to leave. I asked Harry if he wanted me to show him the campus. A little nervous, he said yes. That's how our university years went by, and I got to know Harry better. I was surprised to see how much we had in common. And over time, I realized I liked him. I loved the way he looked at me and convinced him to exercise with me. Unlike Andrew, Harry had always been on the lighter side, and I was amazed by the incredible transformation he underwent. 2 years later, we decided to start dating because I had fallen in love with him, and he confessed that he had always had feelings for me. However, he knew I only had eyes for Andrew and didn't want to interfere with my love for his brother. Knowing that Harry was that kind of man made me love him even more. By the time I graduated, I decided to stay in Pasadena, look for a job, and find an apartment while waiting for Harry to finish his final year of college. During the years we were in college, Harry and I would come home in the summer and spend time together, but Andrew never came back. He said he was too focused on his studies. Harry and I decided not to tell our parents about our relationship since we knew they might meddle a bit. We planned to tell them later. By the time Harry graduated, I already had a job where I could work happily. Since Harry had studied the same as I did, he could join the same company as me, but in another department. In case you're wondering, we both studied systems engineering. 2 years passed in which Harry and I focused on our relationship and our work. I had prepared a surprise for Harry. I wanted to propose to him in front of our families. So I took 2 days off work to go to my parents' house where both our families would gather for the weekend. I wanted to give him the surprise then. On Thursday, I mentioned to Harry that I had to go to my parents' house for something not very important and told him he could join me on Saturday. He looked a little confused but said he was fine with it. When I arrived at my parents' house, they greeted me warmly, and so did my brothers. My mother then said, "See who's here." When I turned to the living room, I saw Andrew. He got up quickly to greet me and tried to kiss me on the cheek, but I pulled away. He looked confused, and my mother told me, "Daughter, get ready because in the evening, we'll all get together for dinner." I knew that meant my family and Andrew's family were going to meet for dinner. I thought it was fantastic since with everyone there, it would be easier to share my surprise with them and Harry.